Training is a waste of time. Hey folks, Dave Suson with 180 and 180 coming at you from Greenville, South Carolina. Actually heading into Greenville right now and wanted to chat with you a little bit about training in general. Alright, training's really not a waste of time. The reality is all training is good training. Now some of you say, well that's not true. You know what? One of my mentors told me, even if you can get one thing out of it, it could be worth it, because sometimes that one thing is the one thing that makes the biggest difference. But what do I mean by it's a waste of time? Well, the reality is many training programs, many times you do training, etc., training is focused not on root cause of problems, but on symptoms of problems. Good example of that was when I was in college, I would tutor people and help them in calculus. Problem is, we're working on calculus, they're struggling, they went in to see their professor, they're still struggling, and then they come talk to me, we start looking at it, and the reality is, calculus was not the issue. The issue was basic math. The issue was adding and subtracting fractions and decimals and negative numbers, the things you learn in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, all that stuff. Those fundamentals were weak. So all the training in the world, all the training to fix calculus issues won't resolve it. Another example, I was golfing, I was consistently hitting out to the right, I was struggling. I went to go see a golf pro, and I continued to take lessons, and he was correcting this, he was correcting that, he was correcting this and that and that, on and on. Reality is, I realized, this is like 10, 15 years later, after multiple lessons with multiple pros, none of them caught the fact that every time I was hitting the ball, I was turning my head looking away from the ball. I never watched the ball. So if I don't see the ball, the contact on the ball, how do I hit it? So oftentimes the fundamental problem in trainings is we focus on a symptom, not a root cause, not a core issue. So one of the things that we want to focus on in sales training, leadership training, etc., is that we get to root cause. And what we do is, as we're looking, you're looking at your sales, you're looking at leadership, whatever it is. If your sales are struggling, what is the root cause for why it's struggling? Is it technique? Is it closing technique? Or is the fact you're not talking to enough people? Or is the fact that you have fear, and fear is holding you back from progressing and asking the tough questions? So oftentimes we're focused on the wrong issue. So what I would encourage you to do is really look at yourself and say, am I at the root cause? What is the real cause of the issue? Which is what we try to do, what I try to do when I work with you in sales or leadership training. Anyway, folks, back to it. 180 and 180, Dave Suson, out.